everyone, it's Jane and welcome back to another Silhouette Studio tutorial. I'm starting on my Pinterest board, Can I Make This in Silhouette Studio? And I'm looking for something that will be relatively quick and easy because our last little project was quite involved. And I'm liking the look of this heart. It's got some beautiful embossing, and of course the cardstock has some texture too, which is going to be a bit awkward to replicate, but I think I can make a fairly decent approximation of this design in Silhouette Studio, and I don't think it should be too long a project. So let's get started. I'm going to right click and choose Copy Image from the menu. Click into Silhouette and paste it so that I can just put it up here and be able to see it for inspiration, so I know that that's what I'm aiming for. When you copy and paste from the web like that, you will get the low resolution yellow warning triangle, but as we're not using it for any printing or anything, we don't need to worry about that. I'm going to open a couple of panels, my line style and my fill, and I think that's about it. We're ready to get started. I'm going to zoom in just so we can see the grid a little bit better and arrange my window so I can just see the heart there. First we need the line tool. I'm going to draw the heart first, and I'm going to use Draw a Curve Shape. I'm going to just pick any colour to fill it with so that I can see it. I'll just use a light brown. And I'm going to start, I'm going to start in the middle of my grid. The grid spacing, in case you want to be able to follow along, is 1 inch, and my divisions are at 8. And I've also got Snap to Grid on. So I'm going to start in the middle of a block of 4 and click once. I'm going to go across 2 lots and click once, and I've gone up 1. I'm going out 1 and down 2 and click once, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat it on the other side. So I want to be 1, 2, 3 out, 2 and 1 in, and meet up in the middle. Then I want to do the double click shimmy to open point editing. We do love point editing, don't we? And let's start in the middle. It's a corner point. I'm going to grab the blue handle and bring it in one of those little tiny squares and then turn it up 1. Grab the blue handle, bring it in to 1 little square from the point and up 1. And then I'm going to go out to these sides and click on the left side here. Grab the handle on the outside, drag it to the main dividing line and make it level. Do exactly the same on the other side to the dividing line and make it level. And then finally click the middle point at the bottom and change that to corner and bring in the handle so it's 1 little square away from the point and 1 up, and do the same on the right, 1 little square and 1 up, and there I've got a very nice heart shape. I like that. And I'm just going to move that over here for the moment because I don't want it just yet. I'll zoom out a little bit for this next part. I'm going to draw the strips next, and for that we'll need our rectangle tool, and I'm going to choose, I'm going to pick up the colours on this because it's very bright and cheerful. On the fill panel you've got a little dropper here. If you click the dropper, you can then bring your mouse over and select a colour. So let's try for this pink. And then I'm going to draw a strip that's 1/2 inch by 6 inches. And once I've done that, I'm going to open my replicate window and make 3 copies of it. And I want rows and columns and down, and if I click that once, I've now got 3 copies. I know it's not easy to see because they're all the same colour. And for the moment, I'll leave that as it is. I'll just zoom about, there we go. So I'm going to leave this bottom one pink, and I want to make this middle one orange. So I'm going to use the dropper again and pick up the orange. And I'm thinking maybe that's a little bit dark. And so I can open the advanced options, and it doesn't look like my wheel here has actually moved anywhere near the orange. So if I click in there, see now I like that better, that's a bit brighter. And I might just make my pink a little bit brighter too. Or even a bit darker actually. There we go, I like that. And then let's do this top one, and that wants to be yellow, so I'm going to get my dropper again, come across to the yellow, and my wheel has moved this time in the rainbow here, the rainbow picker, and I can just make that a touch brighter, and that will do. I'm going to draw around all 3 to select them, and use my duplicate once down option on the replicate window, and I'm going to make these colours, and this time I'm going to start with the blue at the bottom. It's sort of a purpley blue, isn't it? So let's make that a little bit more. That'll do. Now we want a nice turquoise, and then we want green, and again pick up the dropper and pick green, and I want a slightly brighter green. There we go. I can close my replicate window for now. I can also close point editing for now because I don't need that. And now I'm going to select those 3, the blue, the turquoise and the green, just by drawing around them slightly and grouping them together, and then doing the same with the pink, orange and yellow. Group those together, and then I want to align them on top of each other, and I'll use this align tool and click out. Now I need to open my transform window for the rotate, and we need to put them on a diagonal. So the first one I'm going to do is the green, turquoise and blue, and do a 45 degrees counterclockwise. Click on the pink, yellow and orange and do 45 degrees clockwise. And then I'm going to draw around them both and group them together. I'm going to get my heart and duplicate it and bring it across. And because I want to be able to do fine movements to align it, I'm going to just take snap to grid off and take transform off. Let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing. And we want to fit our heart so that it fits within the colours. And so I'm just going to pull it in a little so that it's just touching the edge of the blue there, and just touching the edge of the pink on the left, making sure it's still alright in the middle of the green and yellow. I think that will just about do. Now because I've resized it from my original, I'm just going to duplicate it and put it off to the side. You'll see why later, I'll need that. And then I'm going to send this to the back and draw around everything so that it selects. And On your screen you'll see you'll get a box where the heart is in the middle around your colours. Now we need to open Modify, and it took me a while to figure out which was the best option. And the one that I want for this is Divide, to create individual shapes from the intersections of up to 8 selected shapes. So click Divide, and you'll see that you'll get all these lines and divisions, and it looks a little bit messy, but that's fine. I can close that for the moment. And now we need to get rid of all the excess so that we just end up with our heart shape. I'm going to click out, and I'm just going to draw carefully across the top edge so that it selects the yellow, pink and orange, and cut. Now you need to keep to the very outer edge so that you don't accidentally catch the heart shape. So you just want to touch the very edge of the colours and cut. Now if your silhouette isn't doing that, there's in Options, let me quickly show you, Tools, and it says when drag selecting, select shapes touching the drag box, not shapes that are enclosed. They need to be touching for this to work. So again, I can just touch the pink, touch the orange, touch the yellow, and cut. And do the same on this side. Just touch them at this end and cut. Now, I'm not entirely certain how clear it is on the screen. I'll zoom in a little bit more. But can you see our heart line is just inside our colours here? So we just move our cursor up until it changes to the hand and carefully pull away the parts that we don't need. I've got a line there, a very fine line if you can see. And got another very fine line there too, and then I can just pull these out of here and select them and get rid of them. Let's do the same with this and there, and I've just got two very fine lines to pull away, and I know I'm selecting more than I want there, so let's just be careful. And I think that's it. I think we're done now. We've got our heart shape. So let's just zoom out a little bit. That's my new resized one, so I'll move that over there. And now we need to make the weave effect, and that's actually a little easier than it looks. So if I click here on this one, you can see I've got a separate little square, and so I can now change that to this pink, and I'll pick up the same colour by using the dropper tool from the fill panel. And then here it goes orange right down to the turquoise, so I need this to be orange. Now it's selecting that line there, so just make sure you click again so you get the square. And again use the dropper and pick up the orange, and it's also orange at this square here, and you don't need to use the dropper again because the colour's here, so you can just click that square. And now we need to make the one yellow. So again, use the dropper and pick up the yellow. And now we've got our woven heart or patchwork. I don't really know what I'd call it. I'm going to select all those and group them together. Now at the moment they've still got their cut lines on. If I go to the send window, you can see it's going to cut all those. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go to my line style and click the hatch option here, which is transparent. And now if I go to the send window, okay, it's still showing the cut lines. If it's doing that and you're in this simple tab, if you click line, here I've got, it says red outline for cut, and now my lines have disappeared, so I know that that's not going to cut each individual shape. However, I do want to cut the heart itself because I want to be able to put it up on some foam, I think. So that's why I saved this, which is of course exactly the same size. And I can make it transparent, fill, but I've got my line, and now I can align those using the tools here, center and center, and group them together. So there we go, I've got the heart. So all that's left is a little bit of text, and I did actually dress it up a little bit with something else. So let's start with text first. I'm going to just move over and move my text panel up here. You can choose any font that you've got on your computer, and I think I might go for this one. It's one of my favourites, called Zuki Squash. I don't think I'm going to need it at 72 points though, so I'm going to type in here 20 and press enter and start with something a little bit smaller. I'm going to keep my view, even though it's a long way away, at this size, so that I've got an idea that what size I'm putting the text next to the heart here, I'll be able to see when it's printed. There's a tendency, if you zoom in too close, that you'll do a smaller font than is actually readable because it looks alright on the screen. So I always start by looking at it from a bit of a distance. I want my text to be black, I think, but I don't want it cutting, so I'm still going to keep the transparent option on the line. And then I don't think I want to put "you are always in my heart." It's perhaps a little bit fluffy for me today. So I think I'll go for "thinking of you." So I've got my text there. I need to click my text tool on the left here. And let's start with thinking. And click, and then of you. And then for an idea of where I want them, I'm going to rotate and put them sort of where I want them. The line at the top of the box, I'm going to try and just sort of follow the line of that heart. Let's turn this one and put that about there. That's a bit close actually compared to the other one. And then I'm just going to click out, and do I like that size? I think yes, I do, but I want "of you" just to take up a little bit more room, so I'm going to increase the character spacing. Let's try 115. That doesn't look too bad, so it's just a little bit more even. It's not perfect, but it will do. And then, because I think, yes, my font size is okay, now I'm going to zoom in so that I really can make a good job of lining this up equally. So let's start about there and put that a little bit straighter. And I didn't do bad with this one. And think, yeah, that's okay. Now, I'm not keen on this gap in the middle, and I think it would look better to line up the words if I put a little heart there. So I'm going to just zoom out and pick up the heart from here, duplicate it, bring it across. I don't want it to cut, so I'm going to take the line off. And I want it in black. Oops, I'm going to resize it. Oh, and I don't need the text, let's close that. And line this up under here, and I'm just going to quickly draw with my mouse to zoom in. I find that works quickly. Right, let's line up our heart. I could actually use the tools for this, couldn't I, instead of struggling. I do tend to do things. Let's click the hearts and use our align center. I'm just going to move it a little bit closer, and I think that might be okay. Let's just double check. There we go. If we zoom out, yeah. Although I think my thinking looks a little bit wonky from a distance, I'm going to just, yeah, I like that, that's better. I'm going to group those together and duplicate, keep a copy off to the bottom there. So now I'm going to make my card base, and before that I'm going to take my grid off. There is a reason for that. I'm going to draw a rectangle, I'm going to fill it with white, and we want a cut line of red. I'm just going to quickly draw it out and then type in my measurements, and I know that my A4 card, when I cut it in half, is 4.13 wide by 5.845, and I can press enter, and that's my card base. I can send it to the back so that I can see the heart underneath, and then let's align it where we think it will look right. So think about that far down, and then to make sure it's centered horizontally, I'm going to select them both and use the center horizontally. Oh, look at that, it didn't move. I must have a good eye this morning. And so I know now that my positions of everything are where I want them. I'm going to click, no, I'm not going to click the heart yet. I wanted to see if I could do something for the background. It wouldn't be embossed, but just something to give it a little bit more interest. So I'm going to click the background, and this is why I took the grid off, so we could actually see what we're doing. And I'm going to choose fill, and I thought, so that it doesn't matter what version of Silhouette Studio you've got, we'd use a pattern that comes with the program. And a bit of practicing, I came up with this one. This is black small, although I think there's another one as well that I rather liked. You could do this one. Oh, actually, quite like that. But the idea was not to have it so bright and turn down the opacity. So we could go with the coloured dots, and we could make the fill pattern a little bit smaller. Helps if you click on it. So we've got lots of little dots. No, maybe I don't like the colour after all, actually. What's this one? Oh, little tiny dots. Now they might work. Let's go to 100 though. Not bad. And let's take the opacity right up, or transparency. So 90. Let's go a bit more. Let's try 95. There we go. I like that better. And while it isn't an embossed, raised, textured look, it just adds a little bit of something to the background. And I think that would probably print and cut quite well. So I'm going to leave it at that, I think. Yes. Next, because I want to print the heart separately, I'm going to click on our grouping here, ungroup, and move the heart. And then select the background and the text and group them together so that now I can move them and I know that my text is still in the same place. And then because I'm a bit of a cheapskate and want to fit as many cards on one piece of paper as I can, I'm going to make another version. And here, before I do this actually, let's make the most of our paper. You could easily change the colours if you wanted to. And a quick way of doing that, you could go to Pinterest again, come out. You could type in, let's have a look at colour palette, press enter, and let's have a look at some colour. Oh, I like that purple. Right, let's have a go at this. Copy, image, right click and copy, bring it in, paste it. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Going to make it a bit bigger. Let's put that there. And let's duplicate the heart. Put it here. And no, let's put it down here so that we'll be able to ungroup and group everything together again without collecting something else in the meantime. So ungroup, and then we need to select the matching colours and change them. So I'm going to use the Shift key, and I think we'll make the purple, oh, it's still grouped, ungroup, there we go. Let's select our purple areas, there might be 3 of them like there is there. Open the fill panel, get our dropper, and let's go for that nice dark purple there. And then let's go for the light purple here. Oh, and I didn't get the turquoise, did I? So let's just do that again and click the square. And then the green. And change that to, well actually we could still keep it green. And now let's go for, make the yellow this pale purple, and then we need another colour for the orange. So what should we do there? Now I've run out of colours to choose from, so I'm going to cheat and pick up something because all they've done is pick colours from here. So how about we choose something from here too, and we'll go for just a slightly different purple. Oh look, if you click you can drag your mouse. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Look at that, that's pretty nifty. Should we go for that pale blue? In fact, let's change our minds and make this one the pale blue. And then select our orange. Oh, that's moved. Moved the orange when I clicked it. Orange. And I'm going to choose a slightly darker one. And then for the pink, we need one more colour, and let's get our dropper again and go in. Doesn't really matter actually, I'm just being very fussy, but that's me all over. Oh, what's that? Oh, let's go through that really dark purple in the middle of that berry, sort of bluey. There we go. That's not bad. So let's select all those again and group, and I can put that under there to print, and now I can change the colours on my text to match. So let's go for the heart. What colour do you think? Should we have, yeah, go for that light purple, and I might do the same for the text and use that square. And if I bring my heart down and just have a look, actually I wonder if that blue might be better. So let's see. No, I'm going to leave that. I like that. That'll do. It's subtle. It's almost autumn colours. And so I need to group my background and text together again. I think I'll get away with that black and white polka dot in the background. I'm going to open transform and just rotate this, and it'll just fit at the bottom here. It should print because it's at the bottom, it's missing the hatches, and I think I've got away with it before, so I'll probably risk it. And there you go, 2 cards for the price of 1. Remember, if you enjoy these tutorials and make anything, do drop me a line, drop me a comment, find me on social media. I'm Jane Bradbury just about everywhere these days. I'd love to see what you make. And until next time, take care.